For decades, Americans have been told a quiet, persistent lie: your vote won't matter unless you choose one of the two major parties. That belief didn't appear by accident. It benefits the same two political machines that have controlled the system for generations. Most people assume independence is symbolic, not structural. But that assumption is wrong. If independence held even 30% of congressional seats, the entire balance of power in the United States would shift overnight. Why 30% matters more than people realize. In a two-party system, the majority controls the agenda. But with independence, neither party could pass legislation without negotiating. That means no party could steamroll the country with its agenda. No president, Democrat or Republican, could govern without independent approval. Every major bill would require compromise instead of party line obedience. Lobbyists would lose influence because independents aren't tied to party donors. 30% independent representation forces accountability. It breaks the monopoly without needing to win everything. It simply inserts a third pillar strong enough to stop the pendulum from swinging wildly every election cycle. Why voters feel discouraged, and why they shouldn't. Millions of Americans believe their independent vote doesn't count. That belief is the greatest gift the two major parties ever received. When people think independence is pointless, they default back to the same two choices, even when they don't trust either one. Over 80% of voters don't fully understand how congressional power works, assuming the presidency is the only race that matters. But Congress, not the White House, determines budgets, laws, oversight, investigations, and national direction. If voters understood that independent seats can block bad policy and force negotiation, they would treat independence as a strategic vote. Why both parties want you discouraged? Discouraged voters are predictable voters. Predictable voters keep the two-party system intact. Both parties benefit when people believe independents can't win. A third option is a wasted vote. Only Democrats or Republicans can govern. As long as voters believe that, the system never changes, no matter how frustrated the public becomes. What would change if independents held real power? If independents controlled 30% of Congress, every bill would require bipartisan negotiation. Extreme policies from either side would stall. Corruption would be harder to hide. Party leadership would lose its ability to punish members for voting independently. The public would finally have a buffer against political swings driven by outrage instead of logic. This isn't about replacing Democrats or Republicans. It's about forcing both parties to answer to the people again. The path forward, the solution isn't complicated. Stop believing your independent vote doesn't matter. Support independent candidates in congressional races, not just presidential ones. Focus on seats, not slogans. Understand that 30% representation is enough to rebalance the entire system. The two major parties want you discouraged because discouragement keeps them in power. But the moment voters realize how the system actually works, the game changes. Independents don't need to win everything. They just need enough seats to make sure no party can govern without the people's voice in the room.